financial inclusion to support women in moving from informal trading into formal business ownership. The Chief Executive Officer and founder, Women's Economic Advancement and Literacy Training Hub, Ailara Ahmed, said the organization was established to empower women through knowledge and structured business support. She said the aim was to help women build credible businesses that can access financial services and operate in the formal economy.
We highlighted the necessity of crowdfunding. Another thing that we aim to do is to transform traditional means of savings into digitized platforms. So now we have like a whole financial ecosystem for them. We have the trading sessions, we have the skill sessions, and of course we have the digital payment system that they can just update and see all their cash payments through that. With the digital payment system, they are assured of their monies, and they know for a fact that their money goes directly to the bank and their monies are being invested back into their communities.
Trainers explained about the Super Iron Box initiative, which combines savings, insurance, and digital financial services to promote financial discipline and prepare women-owned businesses for formal registration. The World Trust had conducted several training sessions, with membership growing from 49 to more than 1,000 women within a few months. The organization planned to expand its programs nationwide. Participants said the training had improved their understanding of financial management and also encouraged them to formalize and expand their businesses.
95% now women they take care of home. And some of the women they start with a little capital, but the problem they want in the house it's too much. At the end of the day, the money not better than we earn.
About 95% of women are the ones taking care of their homes, and some of us start our businesses with very little capital. While the domestic burdens are very high, at the end of the day, the capital is often not enough. But when this program was introduced, it taught us how to be disciplined. Some of us used to take microfinance loans, but did not know how to manage them well. This program has placed us into classes that we attend monthly, where we were educated that it is not only about accessing capital, but also about how to manage it properly so that it generates profits and benefits the business.
And you will gain your community and your nation.
The Women's Economic Advancement and Literacy Training Hub is a non-profit organization focused on women's economic empowerment through financial literacy, business formalization, and access to structured financial systems. SLBC News in Freetown, Christiana Kamari reporting.
Network, SPRONET, has held its annual general meeting AGM under the theme Enhancing Institutional Impact on Women Through Collaboration and Teamwork. The gathering was aimed at reflecting on the achievements of the organization and chart a new course for the empowerment of women and girls across the Southern Province. Esther Suzanette Basse reports.
Among the major achievements at the center of this year's annual general meeting is the acquisition of a piece of land in Bo District for the construction of a 5-story center of excellence. The facility is expected to serve women and girls in Bo, Bonth, Pujon, and Moyamba districts. The proposed center will also function as a training hub for skill development, mentorship programs, and other empowerment initiatives aimed at enhancing the socio-economic status of women and girls in the region. The outgoing chairperson of SPRONET, Gertrude Karimo, highlighted the organization's remarkable journey since its establishment in 2017. She noted that for almost a decade, the network has remained committed to contributing to national development through interventions targeting teenage pregnancy, gender mainstreaming, advocacy, public health awareness, and the promotion of quality education among school pupils.
We went to schools because at the end of the day, within the schools, we need to have the kids, retention in schools. The children should stay in school. How do we mentor them?
One of the participants, who also doubles as the Director General of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Josephine Kamara, expressed concern over what she described as the limited participation of grassroots women in some organizational structures. She urged the incoming executive to ensure that the network goes beyond engaging elites and actively incorporates grassroots women in its programs and decision-making processes.
Where are our grassroots women in this room? So now we know more way promote or other places when we village women here. I just want that person. As much as we're talking about elitism, we should not forget, because the decisions the whole thing now, therefore affect.
The Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Dr. Isata Mahoy, reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting women's programs and initiatives aimed at accelerating national development. She pledged in increased collaboration between the ministry and women-led organizations to enhance socio-economic opportunities for women across the country.
The responsibility as human beings, or as women, or as people of this country, for let we take that responsibility, for let we act upon certain things.
In her keynote address, Dr. Fatou Taki called on members of the network to remain united and work collectively for the advancement of women and girls. She stressed that collaboration and teamwork are essential ingredients for achieving meaningful societal transformation.
So it's a day that you're here doing an AGM. It's a day where you sit and think, what am I doing? And how what I am doing has an impact on everybody else around me and the community.
Other participants commended SPONET for its sustained commitment to women's empowerment and expressed optimism that the organization would continue to expand its impact into communities across the southern province and Sierra Leone as a whole. SLBC News, Esther Suzanette Bassi reporting.
The leader of the DIB movement and APC flag bearer aspirant has described environmental protection as a major component to human security. Dr. Ibrahim Bangura was speaking during the Environmental Awareness Walk 2026, which was organized by mainly former students of the Peace and Conflict Departments, Frabe College, where Dr. Ibrahim is also a lecturer. Ibrahim Samura reports.
The leader of the DIB movement and APC flag bearer aspirant, Dr. Ibrahim Bangura, joined hundreds of Sierra Leoneans and students to observe the Environmental Awareness Walk 2026, commencing from the Regent's Car Park onto the Takogama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, one of Sierra Leone's ecotourism potentials. It was designed to raise awareness on the importance of environmental protection and conservation. The work also created the opportunity to interact with Dr. Ibrahim Bangura in a relaxed, healthy, and environmentally friendly atmosphere. The event reached at its climax with the orderly distribution and planting of special tree species, symbolizing a shared commitment to restoring and preserving Sierra Leone's natural environment. Addressing participants, Dr. Ibrahim Bangura encouraged Sierra Leoneans to respect and protect nature, emphasizing that environmental stewardship was a collective responsibility essential for the country's future. Reflecting on the World Environment Day 2026 theme, inspired by nature for climate for our future, Dr. Bangura highlighted the campaign's focus on urgent climate action through key pillars, inspired by nature to protecting nature-based solutions such as protecting forests and wetlands that help combat climate change.
When you look at the question of human security, one of the components got to do with the environment, the security of the environment. How you interact with and deal with your environment fundamental to how the environment have they react to you. We now don't treat the environment fine at this country. This is very serious because a thing where I can reflect on regularly. And it therefore be a key component of the campaign moving forward. And eventually, if God make we succeed, the next government will play a big role for protect the environment in this country. Where you look up the hills, every day you see them brush the hills. I can ask the question of why government will stop them kind here. Why we want to kill the hills and just build randomly across. It's dangerous. And we not learn from the lessons of the landslide. The mudslide will be happen. If I don't show we say, where you not handle the environment well, the environment get away for react, it's very not good, we're dangerous.
The DIB leader noted that protecting environment was not only about conserving nature, but also about securing a healthier, safer, and more prosperous future for generations to come. He called on all Sierra Leoneans to embrace environmental responsibility and work together in building a greater and more climate-resilient nation. Participants also witnessed official statements and the unveiling of a commemorative plaque honoring everyone who took part in the initiative. Ibrahim Samara, Freetown.
Street Child Sierra Leone has celebrated the successful implementation of the Education for Every Child Today, popularly known as the EFFECTS project, with a call for sustained efforts to ensure that every child in Sierra Leone has access to quality education. The 4-year project, which was implemented by Street Child Sierra Leone in partnership with the Education Above All Foundation's Educate a Child program, with funding from the Qatar Fund for Development, officially closed out a ceremony held at the Radisson Blue Mameko Hotel in Freetown. As Esther Susanette Bassey reports, the project supported the enrollment of nearly 47,000 children into school.
The enrollment of about 46,471 in schools for the past 4 years was described as a success by the benefactors, beneficiaries, and authorities in the education sector. The 4-year education scheme was implemented by Street Child Sierra Leone in partnership with the Education Above All Foundation's Educate a Child program and supported by the Qatar Fund for Development. It achieved an 88% school retention rate and was implemented across 16 districts, 112 chiefdoms, and more than 1,000 communities nationwide. Through social interventions, more than 34,000 vulnerable children, including girls and children with disabilities, were enrolled in school, while over 1,000 children with disabilities received treatment and assistive devices. Country Director of Street Child Sierra Leone, Kelfa Kabo, described the closure as a celebration of progress, partnership, and renewed commitment towards ending the out-of-school crisis.
Our school children into primary education across Sierra Leone, Liberia, and northeast Nigeria. Over the course of 4 years, we have exceeded our targets with over 100,200 our school children enrolled into primary education. 46,471 in Sierra Leone alone.
The projects also to address poverty-related barriers to education. Over 15,000 caregivers benefited from income-generating support under the Family Business for Education scheme. The project further improved access to education through the construction and refurbishment of learning facilities, including 60 rural community schools established in hard-to-reach areas. In addition, hundreds of teachers received training in innovative teaching methodologies aimed at improving learning outcomes. Deputy Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Emily Goga, reaffirmed government's commitment to ensuring that no child is left behind in accessing education.
Prioritizing girls, children with disabilities, and those in rural and underserved communities. This is what leadership looks like, using data, partnership, and investment to ensure that no child remains invisible. But let us be clear. Access alone is not enough. To go to school is not only enough. No child left behind means focusing on those still excluded.
Despite the successes recorded, stakeholders noted that challenges remain as more than 180,000 children are still out of school in Sierra Leone. The event captured with renewed commitments from government, development partners, and communities to sustain the gains achieved and continue working towards inclusive and equitable education for all children. For SLBC News, Esther Suzanette Bassi reporting.
The Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, with its partners, has begun a 2-day strategic session on blended and innovative financing for education. The initiative aims at exploring sustainable financing solutions to strengthen the education sector. Christiana Kamara has the details.
Sited here at the New Brookfields Hotel in Freetown, we are members of Parliament, CSOs, development partners, and government officials. Their purpose was to examine alternative financing mechanisms that support long-term investment in Sierra Leone's educational system. Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Conrad Saki, said the engagement came at a critical time when traditional sources of education financing have been declining, including donor support.
As you know, overseas development aid is dwindling, and in some cases, it's no longer available. And as a country, we want to take a very proactive measure to make sure that we start to look at alternative means of financing education.
UNICEF's country deputy representative, Liv Ellen Indretin, said education remains one of the most important investments for Sierra Leone's future. She said amid government's significant allocation to education, there have been numerous challenges not limited to financing gaps, climate-related challenges, among other things.
For UNICEF, education financing is ultimately about children's rights and children's future. It is about ensuring that every child has the opportunity to learn, develop, and acquire the skills they need to thrive. And it is about making sure that financing reaches the children and communities most in need, especially those facing the greatest barriers because of poverty, gender inequality, disability, remote locations, or other crises.
Deputy Minister of Finance too, Jene Jabati, reaffirmed government's commitment to prioritize education despite fiscal constraints. She highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at increasing domestic revenue mobilization, improving public financial management, and safeguarding investment in education and other key social sectors.
Let me say that the government's financing priorities will continue to be guided by human capital and equity perspective, ensuring that increased spending translates into better and fairer outcomes, especially for the vulnerable. We will strongly maintain support for the FUSC program, including support for foundational learning, girls education, disability inclusion, and the school feeding program, while also strengthening teacher workforce and competition.
Participants were informed that Sierra Leone's education sector requires additional and sustainable financing to meet national development goals. improve learning outcomes, and expand access to quality education for all children. It was expected that practical recommendations on financing options would come out of the session. SLBC News Freetown, Christian Akamari reporting.
Maristops Sierra Leone has marked its 40th anniversary with the unveiling of the Lamina Sanko Health Center in Freetown, a purpose-built state-of-the-art facility designed to expand access to quality sexual and reproductive health care alongside integrated clinical services, all under one roof. Ibrahim Samura has the details.
This Lamina Sanko Health Center in Freetown is the 7th health center and represents a bold investment in the future of health delivery in the country. The modern center brings a comprehensive range of services under one roof, including family planning, maternal health services, cervical cancer screening, breast health services, laboratory diagnostics, pharmacy services, general medical consultation, and health insurance access. Country Director Maristops Sierra Leone, Mohamed Kaba, told his audience that the center was a proof that the people of Sierra Leone deserve world-class health care, noting that Maristops would not stop building until every woman, every girl, and every family can access it. He said Maristops has contributed to the reduction of maternal death, providing family planning services and sexual reproductive health services in the past 4 decades.
Back then, we used to have like 13 centers, like static centers, because we used to have almost in all the districts. But again, due to funding shrinking, we have now shaped that now to 7. We just have 7 of those centers, and the good thing I must say, all those 7 centers are actually self funding themselves. Like the proceeds that we are getting is actually supporting those centers. Anything that we are getting in this program is to make sure how we can reinvest that and able to like serve the people that we are serving. That's the reason why we are trying to see how to build this kind of centers wherein when someone comes in, not just when you travel Europe or overseas, that you can get this kind of standard. So we want to make sure our clients can able to like have this quality services in the county.
Deputy Minister of Health 1, Professor Charles Senussi, lauded Maristops Sierra Leone for complementing the Minister of Health efforts and for 4 decades of unwavering services, calling on other health partners to align their investment with the ministry's ambition to achieve universal health coverage.
Through your clinics, outreach programs, community engagement, youth-friendly services, family planning initiative, and maternal health intervention, your organization has helped thousands, if not millions of women, men, adolescents, and families access quality healthcare services. And indeed, you have been very much complimentary to what we are doing at the Ministry of Health, that 360 holistic response to healthcare delivery from conception to senior citizen, and you have been a part of a journey of about 78% drop in maternal mortality in Sierra Leone.
Director, NGO Affairs, Minister of Plan Economic Development Eric Masali, and Slango National Coordinator Alice James said for 40 years Maristops has contributed to national development and health system strengthening. Maristops has provided sexual and reproductive health care across the country since 1986, operating health centers, mobile outreach teams, and social marketing channels.
President Julius Maada Bio has attended the funeral service for Honorable Justice Nyawo Finda Maturi Jones at her hometown of Jama Nimikoro Chiefdom, Kono District. It was a national farewell for a national trailblazer. Justice Maturi Jones became the first female lawyer and first female judge from Kono. Our State House correspondent Margaret Senge went along.
Justice Nyawo Finda Maturi Jones hailed from Jayama Nimikoro Chiefdom, Kono District. She was a devoted member of the United Methodist Church. She was the first woman to become a lawyer and a judge in her community. In the presence of President Julius Maada Bio, Paramount Chief of Nimukoro Chiefdom, Eya Denton Bona, described the late woman as a peacemaker, a selfless mother to all. He recounted their relationship since childhood and noted her contributions towards his elections as Paramount Chief. Justice Jones' eldest son, Curtis Jones, described his mother as a woman of exemplary character who lived a life of sacrifice and loved. He expressed his appreciation to President Bio for the honor accorded to their late mother.
I remember I told you at Key Memorial when I was doing the homily, I expressed that very clearly, that when she was in the courtroom, what was seen with her was the devil. But when she transcended to the house of the Lord, to the church, it wasn't the devil that was seen, it was the Bible that was seen. And therefore, she had to put together in her thoughts of justice both the devil and the Bible, dealing with it in the way God wanted it. Yes, there was a moment she had to use the devil, but she also thought of humanity. Yes.
Delivering the funeral sermon, Bishop James Colker emphasized a gainful life as measured not by material wealth, but by positive impact, growth, and service to others. He said the life of Justice Matiri Jones was a shining example and legacy built in a meaningful contribution to society.
And they were all thanking me for bringing Mom back. And I just wanted the family to know that I could have done it without His Excellency, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Maada Bio. So thank you, sir, for your help. Before and after myself. Thank you very much.
The late Honorable Justice Nyawo Matiri Jones was born on the 28th of August 1950 and died on the 4th May 2026. Justice Jones was called to the Bar of England and Wales in 1979. She began her career in the judiciary as a magistrate before rising through the ranks to serve as a High Court judge and later Justice of the Court of Appeal. Following her retirement from the judiciary, she was appointed Chancellor of the Cornell University of Science and Technology, a position she held until her death. For SLBC News, Margaret Senge reporting.
Africa Global Logistics, together with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, has held a roundtable discussion on combating the drug crisis. The discussion was part of the company's commemoration of this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Cynthia Kamara reports.
Eliminating the alarming spate of drug and substance abuse among youth was especially prominent on the agenda of the panel discussion. The event featured several stakeholders and institutions combating the drug crisis in the country. The discussion was also timely as it coincided with the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking.
They have partners. This is the chain. And that is what we need to fight for our children, for future generation. We need to do our best to protect them. How we can protect them? We need to educate them.
The National Revenue Authority, being a crucial institution that monitors imported goods, noted the need to have the right screening tools and high-level intelligence. The manager of Customs Service Department, NRA, called for collaboration between authorities and the public.
We do collaborate. We share intelligence and we work together. When we started having a surge or an increase in the importation of drugs around Sierra Leone, what we did as management, we made a quick policy that all containers that have medication, all medicine containers should be examined 100%. With that policy, we started having catches.
The Director of Drug Prevention, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ibrahim Dugba, said his institution will never waver in its fight against drug and substance abuse. He admonished on discrimination against drug victims.
Give this a call for all of us to understand that we owe it to Mama Sierra to save and show empathy to those who are affected by drugs. So individuals affected by substance use disorder deserve compassion, understanding, and the opportunity for recovery. However, there can be no compromises with drug traffickers, manufacturers, financiers, and criminal syndicates, whose activities fuel violence, corruption, insecurity, and social instability. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency will continue to strengthen intelligence-led operations.
The atmosphere was filled with numerous suggestions and questions demonstrating the alarming state of drug abuse in the country. The discussion allowed for a wide and frank exchange aimed at restoring the destiny of drug victims and eliminating drug peddling. For SABC News, Cynthia Kamara reporting.
The Sahelian Police, in partnership with the Victory Teams organization, has completed a 4-day artificial intelligence AI training program for police officers drawn from various departments of the force. During the training, the police officers were capacitated with modern technological skills to enhance policing, investigations, and the fight against cybercrime and other technology-related offenses. Suleiman Babature has the details.
The IGP, the management of organization, to bring them to cutting, which is very important. I think.
Within the 4 days period, the 100 police officers were taken through a thorough theory and practical training in AI fundamentals, generative AI, prompt engineering, digital career, entrepreneurship, public health application, ethics, privacy, and innovation. This was to improve investigations and documentation while empowering officers with the technological tools needed to strengthen national security.
Your zeal and willingness to embrace technology reflects your dedication to building a modern and equipped police service.
Deputy Inspector General of Police Sayumba Senesi thanked a Victory Teams organization and admonished all participants to put the knowledge gained into good use and share with their colleagues.
This training actually is in response to the whatever demands that we did. You need to succeed as an organization, you need to succeed as a media, you need to be successful.
Looking at how important the session was to their work, especially in executing administrative tasks and agency response to threats in real time, the participants rendered their appreciation and promised to cascade the knowledge gained to their colleagues.
And we are showing that we'll go and impart the knowledge to others so as we add value on ourselves, the institution, the Sierra Leone police, and the country at large.
The training is expected to be taken to the provinces for other police officers to benefit. SLBC News, Suleiman Babatu reporting.
The Human Rights Commission has ended a 2-day stakeholder engagement workshop on sustainable fisheries, governance, and coastal conservation. The session aimed at addressing human rights challenges in coastal communities. Suleiman Babature reports.
The partnership that will never see the loss
The government's Blue Economic Strategic Plan revealed that 25% of Sierra Leoneans reside in coastal areas relying on fishing for livelihoods. A 2026 assessment report by the Commission and its partners identified challenges such as poor institutional collaboration, lack of legal knowledge, and discriminatory treatment. The two-day stakeholders' engagement on sustainable fisheries governance and coastal conservation was part of the Human Rights Commission's aims to promote and address human rights issues among small-scale fishers. The session also focused on addressing challenges and to enhance participants' knowledge on a human rights-based approach to fisheries governance and relevant legal frameworks.
The relationship among the Ministry of Fisheries, Small-Scale Fisher Union, and other ministries would be strengthened in ensuring human rights-based approach to fisheries governance and the promotion of the livelihood of small-scale fishing communities.
The organizers targeted mapping out of action points for integrating human rights principles into fisheries governance frameworks and fisheries development strategies in Sierra Leone.
Fisheries is more than a source of food and income. It's a backbone of coastal communities, a vital part of our culture, and a cornerstone of national development.
The fishermen lauded the Commission, Ministry of Fisheries, and their partners for the transformative move.
We have been existing as human beings, but we never knew what is wrong and right. That is a concern for the Human Rights Commission to protect the fishers.
Strengthening the relationship among the Ministry of Fisheries, Small-Scale Fishers Union, and other ministries was among several resolutions made at the end of the engagement. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babatu reporting.
And with that, we wrap the news. But before we go, here is a recap of the main points. President Julius Maada Bio has attended the funeral service of Honorable Justice Winda Machuri Jones at her hometown of Jama Nemikoro Chiefdom, Kono District. The Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Julius Matai, has called on investors and other African governments to empower the mining sector and transform the continent's immense mineral wealth into real prosperity for its people. He was speaking at the Energy Forum in Cape Town, South Africa. And the Women's Economic Advancement and Literacy Training Hub Wealth Trust has trained over 350 women entrepreneurs on financial literacy and business development. That is all we can share with you for this. Have a blessed day.